to my dance, but it I can say, why dear girl?
Man from the Leo, GK, but really boiled down to key 10 my ratio. Puffing up and up in my grace like inspirations. I got assurance, so I know that I pray. I check the life lane, but how the four lanes and full blood, suffering the day.
So I said I wouldn't do a full review of the Camp Snap, because there's lots of them online. Well, okay, I changed my mind. I think if I'm going to make this channel the vast majority of about the Camp Snap, and don't get me wrong, there'll be other cameras, but this is what it's focused on. I should really do a basic review to let people know what the camera is all about. Now, Camp Snap is a family business, I believe. Canadians originally, now living in America from what I can pick up. And kids are sent to summer school in America, something we don't get here. We'll see that in the movies. But they're sent to summer school and summer camp, sorry, not summer school, summer camp. And fair enough, they're not allowed to take cameras, phones. I think they're all put away. They're meant to get away from the distractions of these things. But you can take a disposable camera, which is, as you know, 27 pictures, expensive to buy, expensive to develop, and you'll end up with 3 pictures that are usable. So they came up with the Camp Snap, which is basically a disposable camera, but digital, but without all the same, the distractions that a traditional digital camera would bring. I mean, this is completely designed for children. So it's perfect for me. Not that I'm a Luddite. I love technology, I love menus, I love newer stuff, but there is something pure about this. There's something that gets you back to the basics of photography, and something that it brings out a great deal is fun, which is a very important part of photography for me, because if it's work or I'm doing it for my own business, it can get a pain, but this is just fun. So I think I'll go over all the specs, and I'm pretty sure the people at Camp Snap, when they were developing this and working on it, they had no idea that an old man at the other side of the planet would be so obsessed with them. But that's the way it goes. So we'll go on with the specs. Okay, it's an 8 megapixel, f1.8, which is an f4.8 equivalent. It's 1/3.2 sensor. So everything's small and basic, but I'll be honest with you, what more do you need than that? Especially if you're going to print it out. And I'm thinking about getting a printer that I can take with me, in the Canon Selphy, I think it's called, 1500. The prints work out quite cheap. They're a good size and look really good quality from what I've seen. The reviews are really good. And that's all I'd be doing, just printing them out on that, putting them in a book. This is just, as I said before, this is just for fun. So if I can just get pictures I'm happy with, it's not about the pictures being good. It's not about I'm in some sort of challenge with other photographers. No, this is going the opposite way. I want to take them, see what happens, communicate with other photographers, with other people that are into the art, and get away from obsessing over equipment, which is something I'm guilty of. I really am. I obsess over equipment. But when this camera came along, I just went, I don't care anymore. Anyway, you get the battery, and it's really good. You get 500 photos, about that, and I've tested it, it's right, on a single charge. 2,000 photos on the internal memory card. It's a micro SD, which you get with it. It's 4 gig, I think, and that's 2,000 pictures. It's plenty. Although you think 2,000, that'll last me weeks. Once you're out, you start snapping. And if you're out for a couple of hours, 500 pictures can disappear. So I actually carry a battery. So when it goes in my pocket, I'm just recharging it all the time. This is an Anker 10,000 milliamp. This will charge it loads of times. Give you a lot of pictures during the day. Now, it's plug and play. Put into your computer. there's nothing to it, just take the pictures off. There's nothing complex, there's nothing that'll trip you up. It's not like that. I've actually set up a little system where I've got an older iPad, and I just put it into that and do my editing or whatever I need to do directly there. So wherever I am, I can work on them. It's a really cool wee system that I've got in the bag. No menus. There's you basically, you just switch it on and take pictures. Now there are a couple of keys on the bottom. Now they're in an area where the SD card is kept, and it's got a screw to close it. This is kid friendly, so you have to unscrew it. You have to get a little screwdriver to set the date, the metadate on it, which is very basic, and you can see that on the little tiny screen at the back that also gives you your count. Also, I've noticed something, the charging port, USB-C, which is just wonderful, but the little rubber cover for it's very tricky to get out. Now, I think they knew I was going to buy this, because when I have a remote control, I hold it and unclick the back and click it back on for the battery cover, and I break everything. But this is tricky to get out, so it stops me from fidgeting with it. I'm sure it's designed for kids doing that, but I think it's really for me. There's no internal moving parts, so it's a pretty robust camera. The plastic feels great. The cover, the colour you get on it, the leather effect, that's not hard plastic, that is like stuck on. It feels quite grippy. It's really good. There's the LED flash on it. I've noticed some people say, no, it's not that effective on it. If you're at a party or you're around friends and start taking pictures with that flash, it looks like you've been taking pictures in 1994. It looks fantastic. It really works well, so I'm really happy for that. It looks great. It's very authentic. Now, something that's often mentioned with this camera is vintage, vintage, vintage. And I'm not too sure that's the way you should look at it now. Things like nostalgia. Now, we're putting a filter on it. These filters are from, say, 10, 15 years ago, when they started coming in, like with Instagram and things like that. Well, that was emulating the way old cameras looked, obviously, but that was it coming back. So I don't think it's so much nostalgia now, rather than just it's a look. It's something you can play with, and I think a lot of people that use it now are especially too young for it to be nostalgia, or they'd have nostalgia for just a few years ago on Instagram. So that's not really nostalgia. It's just, that's the look. That's the way things are now. And you can choose these filters, which I'll get to in a minute. Looking at the camera itself, it comes in a really nice box. All very basic. Looks fantastic. You get instructions with it. You get the model. This model I'm using is the newest one. This is the V103B, which is an update to the previous one, obviously, which is, I think there's this, I'm not sure if the lens is different. It might be. It's definitely a faster chip in it, which means there's very little delay from depressing the shutter to taking a picture. The camera itself is not as light as you might think. You can feel the weight of the battery, so it feels good. A little switch here for the flash, on, off, and auto. The screen here, you can set the date and time, and it tells you your shutter count. A little speaker here for the shutter sound, which you can turn off or turn up or down, which was a complaint from the previous one. But I like having it on, because I like to know that it's actually triggered and I have taken a picture. Because sometimes, you know, you press maybe too fast and it doesn't take a picture. So that's quite reassuring. Now there's little lugs on the end for a camera strap. That was another upgrade as well. The shutter button has two colours on it, and it's green and red. If you put a filter in, it will go green and red for a second, and then that's the filter activated. But that's it. That's your camera. There's a flash, LED. That's your camera. That's what you get. You get these in different colours. This is something I find incredibly inspiring. It's a really fun way to take pictures. Now, to get to filters. When you get the camera, there's 3 filters. It comes with vintage, which looks fantastic and you can use all the time. The colours are yellowed and it looks really nice. Grain's great. Everything about it's really good. But there's 2 other filters, black and white and standard, you can download. Make sure you update the firmware. You just put it into the root directory. When you switch the camera on, it works. And you're working that filter. You can only have 1 filter at a time. Don't put more filters in, just 1 at a time. Take the other one out, put the new one in, and you'll get that. Now, I have 2 cameras, 2 Camp Snaps. This one here is always black and white. I think they're black and white. It looks great. It's really effective. It's the way I want to shoot. My other one, which is a red version of the camera, exact same camera, I change the filters all the time. Now, they have online software where you can design your own filters. This is one of the most exciting things about the camera. So I create different filters, even black and white. You can maybe do a bit more contrast. So you're not in colours. So you're getting it straight out of the camera without having to go to editing and constantly work on it. And if you're using a filter like that, it's quite inspiring. It makes you think. It makes you go, how can I take a picture with this filter? What's it going to look like? And it does make you think different and actually experiment with the camera. On the show, I'm going to be experimenting a lot, doing different things. I carry bits and pieces with me to shoot through or to put at the side of the frame just to create all sorts of looks. And that makes the camera really interesting. In this country, the camera is £60. I'm not sure about anywhere else, but it's £60 plus postage here, and I think that's really great value for money. I mean, it's extremely good, especially to have something that's so inspiring and so fun. So what I'm going to go and do now is I'm going to go out and shoot with the camera as it comes out of the box, so you know, get an idea, at least, what you're going to get when you buy the camera.